Okay, hold on to your chair. Tonight's final profile is of a woman who brings energy to every situation. Her voice puts a powerful country spin on the music she performs, but it's the rapping that gives her away. Dolly Parton's blonde wigs and shiny clothing are throwbacks to her upbringing in East Tennessee. That's where I recently found her, and that's where this story begins. Today, the haze still nestles comfortably between the peaks that make up the Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
In my Tennessee mountain home, crickets sing in the fields nearby.
Just a few miles down the road, somewhere between Sevierville and Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, is a house, now painted blue, where the Dolly Parton story began.
My grandfather always used to write a lot of poems and a lot of songs, so I just always had the gift to rhyme, and we always had music in our family. So I just had this real outgoing personality. I needed a lot of attention. Anybody that would listen to me sing, I would sing. Anybody that would let me do anything, I would do it just for the attention, I guess. And I just knew there was a world outside the Smoky Mountains, and I knew I was supposed to be part of it.
Out of high school, she ventured as far as Nashville. For 3 years, she auditioned, passed out demos, and tried to get a break. It came in 1967 when she teamed up with singer Porter Wagoner to record songs and appear on a weekly syndicated TV show. In 1974, she headed out on her own, writing and recording music. When does the muse hit you? I mean, you're propped up in your bed or you're riding on a plane. I mean, where do you get your music?
Well, it just hits me anytime. I might be taking a bath, I might be cooking in the kitchen, I might be traveling on an airplane. I just start clicking my nails and doing my one-man band kind of thing, or beating on the dashboard. I used to write a lot when I would drive, you know, different places. I used to take my brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews on vacation a lot. I used to do a lot of driving. So when there's a bunch of noisy kids in the car, just to block them out, I would just be beating on the dashboard and stuff. So it comes from everywhere. It comes at any time.
You know, your image that we see here completely contradicts the mind. People look at you and they think of you as cotton candy. You have a mind like a steel trap, and you also have lots of discipline, and you also are very strong. That comes through. Was this juxtaposition of personalities, the smart woman who looks like she's not, something you developed many years ago in order to sell yourself?
Well, my look came from a kind of a serious place. You know, it's like I was always fascinated with makeup and hair and shiny clothes and all, and being from the country, I didn't have any taste at all and still don't. After I started seeing that people were paying attention to me with the big hairdo and all that and the makeup and telling me, well, you should change your hairdo, you should do this and do that when I first moved to Nashville. Then I got to thinking, they're noticing me, and that's what everybody wants. Everybody needs a gimmick of some kind. I thought, I'll not only will not change it, I'll make it more than what it is and make the most of it then, even when I had the money to afford to look any way I wanted to. I just decided that I wanted to still be fun. I didn't want the pressure of having to look any way but how I wanted to look, wear anything that I wanted to wear. And the fact that I look totally artificial and that I am totally real inside has made a nice little magical combination that's held people's attention long enough to know that I do other things. And somehow they feel like that it's something for them to play in, too. It's like I don't know, it's sort of like a little dresser doll or something. It's like, oh, Lord, what's she going to wear today? Oh, how embarrassing. Or I wish she hadn't done that. But it's like people are part of it, and they are.
What do you look like at home? I mean...
Hell. What do you look like without all that makeup and lipstick? I look just like a plainer version of what I am. My hair is blonde, and it's, I keep it, about shoulder length. And when I don't want to be recognized, I can certainly get out without it, because people mostly just notice that big head of hair and, and all the fingernails and the jewelry and, whatever gaudy clothes I may have on at the time. I can get around without it, but when I go out in public, I prefer to look like myself, because this is fun for me, too. It's not just fun for the people, it's fun for me.
Well, hello out there!
Dolly Parton works hard, beyond 9 to 5.
I tumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition, yawn and stretch and try to come to life. Then I jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping, out on the streets the traffic starts jumping with folks like me on the job. From 9 to 5, yeah!
In the early 80s, she was cranking out big records, making personal appearances. Her first movie, 9 to 5, was a hit. and she was making her second movie, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, with Burt Reynolds, when things started to collapse.
I got very ill. I think a lot of it was just from doing too much for too many times and not saving enough for me. During that time, I had a lot of physical problems. You know, I had some female problems and, you know, some stomach problems, and I just really was having a fit, you know, with my health, and I had a lot of personal problems, heartaches, and some business things, and some friendship things, and stuff that, you know, that really gets you emotionally. And plus, that was a very hard project to do. Burt was also going through a lot of heartache at that time, so me and him were not as big a support to each other, although we got along fine. But that movie changed hands so many times. There was so much blood on that project. That was the hardest job I had ever had in my life. And it was as awful to do as 9 to 5 was good. So I learned, you know, from those two movies, actually, everything I felt I needed to know, that I would definitely have to have more control of any projects I did in the future. So I immediately went out and started my own production company, and that I would write the songs and that I would, you know, be more in control.
She took control of her lifestyle, enough to shed 40 to 50 pounds.
I mean, this figure of yours, I am so jealous. I want to know all the hints, but I want to know how you did it.
Well, I did it the way every fat woman has done it. You know, I've been on every diet. I've often talked about it. I did juice fast, I did fruit fast, you know, fruit juice fast, total fast. I went on every diet that I've ever known, which I've been on forever, you know, starving to death. And then I would, you know, lose a certain amount of weight, and then I would try to maintain it for a couple of weeks, and then I'd go back on another restricted diet. And so it's taken me probably 3 years to really get the weight down. So that's when I decided that I hated diet foods. I hated not being able to go out to dinner with everybody or for lunch, and I always do that. I love the table. I love to go to eat. I love the conversation at a table. So I just decided that I would just eat a lot of small meals and try that. Of anything I wanted, just pretty much just taste them, but eat enough to be healthy and to try to eat better foods too while I was in the time of it. But I still eat junk. I eat desserts. I eat everything I want. But I just eat just a few bites of things, small bites too.
You look great. I mean, an 18-inch waist, and you told me on the TV the other day, if you poof it out a little bit, you can get up to 21. I almost wanted to kill you.
That kind of runs in our family, you know, as a small waist. And so it hasn't been like I had to exercise to get that down. When I started losing, I just started shrinking. So actually my waist just naturally is probably about 19 or 20.
Did you lose any in the bust?
Oh, of course, many, many inches. That's just all fat. You know, that's the first, you start losing there almost. But there was just a lot, and I've just kind of come down just to a miniature version of everything I was, so I still got plenty.
Dolly Parton has plenty of success and shares it with plenty of friends. This year, she returned to the friendly confines of Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, to celebrate the first anniversary of her theme park, Dollywood.
But I just wanted to come home. I always wanted my people to be proud of me, not just my family, but my hometown people.
I built fires for Dolly Parton all my life, and she and my daughter graduated together.
And they are, and that makes me feel great, because I'm proud of them. I've carried them all over the world, all of my career, and talked about them and how much I loved it. And this was a dream I've had for probably 14, 15 years, to have an amusement park or something that would be grand. I came up with this idea, something that would provide hundreds, even thousands of jobs for the local people, that would also just add to the whole area to bring people in.
Those who do visit Dollywood will get a good old-fashioned dose of country, from fresh lye soap to hot horseshoe making, and something you can't get anywhere else, Dolly's relatives.
They've built a theater with many seats out front and on the back porch, and they call it the Parton's Back Porch Theater, and that's where my family performs.
Dolly and I wrote this song together about my father, which is Dolly's grandpa. Daddy was an old-time preacher man.
Dorothy Jo Owens is Dolly's aunt.
Daddy was an old-time preacher man. He preached the word of God throughout the land. He preached the plain child and understand.
I have lots of uncles and aunts and brothers and sisters and cousins, so it's very special, and they do a tribute, you know, to my music, and they're all very talented. So it's given them a lot of jobs too, and a way to let their creativity out, and they really enjoy the park.
One relative you won't see at Dollywood is her husband of 22 years, Carl Dean. They keep their relationship private.
Well, he's very good in my life. He's not the anchor. He's not the only thing that, keep me. I have a great family. I have wonderful friends. I have a lot of support with the business partners that I have, and he's been a saving grace for me many times, though, just because of being the way he is.
Do you ever feel, because of what you've succeeded at and the things that you have, you've been so blessed, the one thing that is a very basic female function of having children is something that's been denied you? Does that bother you?
No, it did for a while, only because I think it was just the feeling that I couldn't do something, But I felt like that everything in my life has been God's will for me. Maybe God meant for me to entertain other people's children. Maybe he meant for me to be there for my nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters, as I always have been.
Let's talk about luck. Talent is there, but a lot of people have talent. Tell us some examples of where luck paid off and helped you get here.
I've pondered that very thought, and I thought, well, why me? Why would I be so lucky? But then I also think I'm always there at the right time. I'm always working. I've built those, channels around. A lot of people that have the talent, you'll find that they would prefer to do other things, or they get sidetracked. They may have the talent, but maybe they'll spend 6 months deciding that they're going to get married, or that they're going to court this boy or this girl, and they forget what they're doing, and they get off track just enough to where then when they get on through, that, they don't plan it well. Not to say you can't have a life, because you can. I certainly have. Yes, I am lucky, but I've made a lot of my own luck, and I've sacrificed, a lot to get there, too. But
what have you sacrificed?
Boy, you're just full of questions. Who you think you are, Barbara Walters?
Yes, the black version.
Well, you sacrifice your health for one thing. You sacrifice being alone for another. I spend many nights in a lonely bed, by trying to be where, where I've needed to be, and it's not easy for you, but if that's what you really want, and if that's what you feel that God has called you to do, you make those sacrifices and you make the most of it.
In dreams of you, my body trembles.
She was able to make the most out of a friendship she has with singers Emmylou Harris and Linda Ronstadt. It took a number of years, but an album, Trio, finally became reality.
No, 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 is to love, love, love him. Just to see him smile makes my life worthwhile.
What else do you want to do?
Everything. I'm going to write some Broadway plays, which I'm writing a Southern musical now, and I want to perform on Broadway for a time, at least for a year or two, just to get that out of my system. I want to publish a lot of the books that I've written, some novels, and then some self-improvement, positive thinking, attitude, kind of books, and some of my poetry. And I've started some food and beverage businesses. I just opened a restaurant in Hawaii. I'll wake up tomorrow with a new dream. I just kind of let my heart guide me and my creativity guide me, and then do as much of...
Is there anything that limits Dolly Parton?
Not that I can think of.
That's the truth. She just signed a big bucks 2-year deal with ABC to host her own weekly variety show. That starts in the fall. Let's update you on some of our past close-ups. Vince Dooley, well, he took the dogs to the Hall of Fame Bowl and lost, but there's always this year. Sugar Ray Leonard's obsession was satisfied. He did get that fight with Marvin Hagler. He won and then retired again. Dr. Ruth Westheimer is still on cable, but her syndicated broadcast program has been struggling. Gladys Knight told us she and the Pips were really looking forward to moving back to Atlanta, and now they're here. And I'm glad you were here with us for tonight's special. Hope you'll look for us again next time. Good night.
Working 9 to 5.